the last chapter. And today's verse is verse number 29. Buddhirvedam dhritaschaiva gunatas-trividham shrunu prochyamanam asesena prithakvena dhanam jaya. Buddhirvedam dhritaschaiva gunatas-trividham shrunu prochyamanam asesena prithakvena dhananjaya. Word by word meaning: buddhi, of intelligence; bhedam, the differences; dhrita, of steadiness; cha, also; eva, certainly; gunata, by the modes of material nature; trividham, of three kinds; shrunu, just hear; prochyamanam, as described by me; asesena, in detail; prithakvena, differently; dhananjaya, O winner of wealth. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in the detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. Purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Now, after explaining knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower in three different divisions according to the modes of material nature, the Lord is explaining the intelligence and determination of the worker in the same way. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamaiham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utpadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुवैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Nilachal Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaye Namo. So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha where Krishna is explaining to Arjuna about the modes and how it affects something which he spoke some time back. Some time back he spoke about jnana, knowledge, karma, work, and the karta, the doer of the work. So now he has come to this stage where he is focusing on the doer of the work, the person who is doing the work, because he has spoken about jnana, he has spoken about karma. Now he's focusing on the doer of the work. And within the doer of the work, he is explaining in this verse the two aspects of the doer of the work. And what are the two aspects of the doer of the work? The person who is doing the work, buddhir, that means intelligent of the person who is doing the work. And he is also saying Vedam. Vedam means how the differentiation is taking place. Dhritascheva. Dhrita means determination or steadiness. And then he's saying Gunas Trividham Shrunu. That means the three modes, the three gunas differentiate the way in which a person's intelligence for doing the work and determination for doing the work is differentiated. Prachyamanam asesena. That means he's saying, I'm going to describe to you, Arjuna, and I'll describe you in the modes, which is the next 6 verse, is prithakvena. Prithak means differently. That means he's giving an index in this verse. This is the verse where there is an index And in the next verse, he's going to give in 6 verses. What are the things he's going to tell in 6 verses? Buddhir, the intelligence of the doer, and how the intelligence of the doer differs when he is in mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So there will be 3 verses after this where he is going to talk about intelligence in mode of goodness, intelligence in mode of passion, which is 30-31, and intelligence in mode of ignorance. And the next 3 words, pratak vena. So whatever Krishna is saying, he's indexing it before. So whenever we want to do something, any festival, for example, we lay it out properly so that everybody knows, so that everything is in order. So this is something we learn from Krishna consciousness. Here, Krishna, when he's going to tell 6 verses, he's telling Prithak Vena. That means he's going to tell how he is going to differentiate between the 2 qualities in 3 modes. So 2 by 3, 6. Now it is 29. So which is the index of the next 6 verse. So the next verse is about knowledge in goodness. Next is knowledge in passion. Next is knowledge in ignorance. Coming back, he's going to talk about dhritas. Dhritas means steadiness or determination. How determination varies from goodness, which is going to be 33. Then 34 will be determination in passion, and then determination in ignorance, 35. So the next 6 verses, he is going to go detail one by one, and prithak vena, that means he's going to talk about it differently. And what he is going to talk about it differently? The differences between each of these attributes in various different modes. Beautiful, isn't it? So Krishna is thinking perfectly like how a analytic person should think about if you have a problem, lay out the problem, and then when you go and explain the solution, people understand what the solution is. Without knowing the problem, if you start talking about the solution, then nobody will get head and tail out of it. So, and there, Srila Prabhupada is saying that there are 3 things right in the beginning. First is the knowledge or gyan, and the object of knowledge, which is essentially culminates into karma, and the doer of the knowledge. That means, see, just having knowledge is not going to be useful. Suppose you have a knowledge that 1 plus 1 is 2, but until you use this knowledge 1 plus 1 is equal to 2 in some form of accounting in your house, or in some form of accounting in temple, or some form of accounting in teaching your kid how the addition is there, then this knowledge is useless. So the main problem in this world is a human being is going to do something in his life, because that something, if the human being doesn't indulge, he will indulge in something which is not favorable. So indulging in a work is going to be imminent. Suppose a glass is half full. The person who is not focused in doing the right thing, he may add something which is not favorable. He may add alcohol. But if the glass is totally full, then there is no chance of adding anything. So a person will end up doing something. A person cannot sit idle. He is going to do something. And how to use that knowledge, and how to use that knowledge in action so that we end up yielding the best result in the various different modes is very critical for everybody's understanding. So let's try to dig a little bit deep into this verse. So when Arjuna was trying to fight the war, he said, what am I going to do? I'm going to kill Dronacharya, I'll kill Bhishma, I'll kill all this near and dear. And once a lot of people get killed, then my family will be filled. with pollution from a different uh, sect in a negative way. So he was um, thinking in a very negative way, which is not prescribed by. So in his mind, when he was actually in the second chapter, he was right, because he was giving all kind of reasons, which he is not a ordinary person. He was a very powerful person. He was a powerful archer. He kept his duty in every step of the way prior to this, in terms of securing and protecting the family and mother, and so many wonderful qualities he had. A person of that stature was confused. And then there he ends up saying, Karpanya dosa pahata swabhava prachhamitvam dharma samudha cheta. That means he's confused about his duty and have lost all the composure because of the miserly weakness, which is karpanya. Karpanya, whenever we don't let our intelligence get shared, analyzed, put forth, and told back to us through the revealed scriptures, through the exalted gurus, what we think is we look in a very narrow and miserly way. When we live in a society, when we live in an international society, we have traits which has been established over a period of yad yad acharati srashta. That means it is established with acharan, with Srila Prabhupada is the founding acharya, not because he is Srila Prabhupada, because he has got to that position through acharan, through his uh, through revealing his way of leading a life, and that is why he is exemplary to us. And he has, given some blueprint of how we should wake up, how we should take birth in the morning, how we should go to the temple, and which way we should pay obeisances, and how after seeing the Lord we end up glorifying the Guru, because of which this place was a dark place, and because of the awakening of light by the Guru, we are feeling the importance of knowledge in our lives, and then have the chanting of the holy name, and then prasadam. So there is a way of life in everything. But by being miserly in our lifestyle, by trying to think that we know everything, so till that time Arjuna was a very successful person. And then towards the end, just before this chapter, uh, Krishna, Arjuna is mentioning, pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidurasura. That means those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. They do not the right thing in their life. So when we do not get counseling in our life in the form of how we should lead our life, what is the objective of life, why we are here, why we are in association of devotees, we're trying to learn the way the supreme personality of Godhead has dwelled into the ashram, the varnashram, and has created a blueprint for all of us to follow. Once we do not have that clarity, a lot of people, even before joining ISKCON, they were very bright in terms of education, in terms of getting good degrees, getting good salaries, but they have not understood the real purpose of the life. Most of the time they have being successful have led to the belief that whatever they have done is right, and they focus in that direction. They pretty much try to get a promotion after promotion after promotion. A time comes when you're there 35, 40, 45, they realize that they have spent so much of time. What have they done in terms of identifying who they are, where they have come from, and what is the relationship between them, which is essentially the purpose of life. Otherwise, it is pretty much like animals who are basically eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So the way we distinguish ourselves is by answering the inner sense as to who we are, and by not being kripana in the sense, and by being a brahmana. That's why kripana and brahmana are opposite to each other. Kripana in this case is not miserly for money, it's miserly for the attitude to open up our hearts and let the Supreme Personality of Godhead sit on our hearts. And Brahmana is not a designation, is not a caste, it's a way of life as to how I should acquire knowledge. So by being a miserly person, Arjuna is saying he is not letting the views sink in, and he is confused. And in the 16th verse, which we just went through very recently, the qualities of divine and demoniac people, the demoniac people do not know what is right and what is wrong. So that is why I don't want to take the thunder from the upcoming 6 classes, but as this is the index, let's take the moment to dwell a little bit about each of these in a summarized fashion. And in the next 6 days, Krishna is so methodically explaining to Arjuna. Wish everybody takes to Krishna consciousness and sees the method in this beautiful verse. Without when the service is being given to us, we understand by going deep into the verse that how valuable Krishna's thought process is. So when Krishna is saying, when the intelligence, in this example, we talked about the 3 things, the jnana, the karma, and the karta. Now we are in the karta stage. Of the karta who has intelligence and goodness, he knows what to be done and what not to be done. Most of the time, we fickle. Sometimes on the weekend, we uh, some people do not take to Krishna consciousness. They wake up late, and this modes are just not stuck with us. It changes over a period of time. During the day, in the morning, you have Srimad Bhagavatam class. You are in a mode of goodness, but as the time progresses, then the passion sinks in, and by the time you're sleepy, you're ignorant about what's happening. So this is a state of mind which is controlled by the modes, and an intelligent person in mode of goodness knows what is to be done and what is not to be done, and also he knows what to fear and what not to fear. Here, fear should not be taken in a negative sense. Because of the fear, there are so many things which we do right. Whenever we are going an interstate and we are cruising at 60, 65, the fear that if you go in 80 will prompt someone, the trooper, to give us a ticket. Because of that, we don't tread into 70s and 80s, because nowadays with great cars around and nice roads around, 70, 80, 90 doesn't mean anything as far as safety is concerned. But because of that inherent fear we all have to the system, then so the fear has to be done not in a negative sense, but a person who is intelligent and is in the mode of goodness knows what to fear and what not to fear. And then Krishna knows this specific example around intelligence and goodness, wherein a person knows what is binding and what is liberating. He knows the boundaries in terms of what is binding and what is liberating, and it doesn't indulge in things which can be binding, and the decisions we have made in our life at some point in time, time, place, and circumstance, and how that decision is going to haunt us for the lives to come. And a person in the mode of goodness with the right consciousness, if he uses the intelligence properly, then he would be able to take the right decision in terms of what is bind and what is liberating. So moving on, intelligence in passion cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, because nowadays you see the sprouting of various different religion, various different yoga forms, and that is precisely because people want to make money from the religion. Religion and that's where Bhakti Vinod Maharaj once gave a very nice difference between religion, religiosity, and spiritualism. And we are all spirit souls. We are seekers in our own right, and whenever we become very much uh, sectarian in our views of religion, we cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, and then we try to make money out of religion by selling this, by selling this service. So that is intelligence in passion, and can choose between action to be done and not to be done. Sometimes, whenever we are put in a pedestal where we have to take decisions, um, and sometimes people are totally in inactive situation. They can't take the action, because by taking the action, they may succumb to um, wrong paradigms, and that is why um, sometimes when they are puffed up with passion, their intelligence get dwindle. They cannot choose between action to be done and action to be not done. And intelligence and ignorance consider irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion. So it's just the ulta in that sense. That means whenever you end up telling them that you do this, they will just do the opposite. And whenever you tell them not to do something in terms of spirituality or religion, they will just do the opposite. And there are many reasons for that. I was talking to a, a devotee from our temple. Whenever they go to their house in India, their family knows that these people have restrictions in food and various different things. But in order to teach them a lesson, because they have tread into some path which is considered to be pious, the family members will end up doing just the opposite. So that intelligence, sometimes when you like somebody, whenever they come to your house, you make some adjustment so that you make them feel good. But just because the person, so that's why mode of goodness can also result in envy, and our ability to become a better devotee in the rat race of trying to do some service just to please somebody else is a thing which is very prevalent. And at the end of the day, Bhakti Maharaj says, if the local manager is happy, but Krishna is not happy with our service, because we have this attitude of taking the service away from somebody, will he be happy? So it doesn't matter that you're trying to do for a very specific, this thing what we're talking about should be ingrained in our life, so that we lead a life. It should be a way of life rather than a very specific outcome. So the people who are in total ignorance, they use their intelligence and ignorance. They consider religion to be irreligion and irreligion to be religion. And for them, truth is the other way. So you might have seen how our taste has changed. Sometimes back, in 60s and 70s, a person doing the right thing was the protagonist in a movie. But nowadays, the protagonist in a movie, in many things, I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about probably 90s and early 2000. Most of the time, the person who is the antagonist, who is not the favorite personality in terms of doing the right thing, he is cast as a hero, and the person who is doing the right thing, he is cast as a villain. You might have you just look around, you'll find a lot of examples in the movies which came out in 90s, and this is basically total intelligence and ignorance. And with that, we are supporting, we are um, uh, rather praising the quality. So the society has become in such a degradable stage that intelligence and ignorance, we're just taking the truth in a totally opposite direction. And there will be more to it in the coming verses, when Krishna specifically in one of the verses is going to talk about intelligence and ignorance. This is just the trailer. So, and likewise, determination in goodness, Krishna uses the word dhrite, or steadiness or determination in this example. So in that, Krishna is saying determination in goodness is unshakable, unbreakable. Whether it takes 1 month by Jaladuta to come to US to spread Krishna consciousness with a bag of Srimad Bhagavatam books, with a box of Srimad Bhagavatams at the age of 69, 70, that is unbreakable determination. That means the intent is not to get any personal gains. Not at that time also, in the 1965, there are flights. Air India was flying, but Srila Prabhupada didn't had any money. It was so difficult to come to a faraway country, getting visa. The Back to Godhead um, was not doing great in India. People were not. Srila Prabhupada had written few cantos of translation of Srimad Bhagavatam by that time. It was not going well. So with so much of difficulty in a freight uh, ship, he came. Unthinkable. And that is why, if you're determined in the mode of goodness, you would end up coming up with unbreakable determination. And Srila Prabhupada embodies that. And then it's backed by yoga practice. It's backed by complete understanding of the yoga system, not the fashion yoga or this yoga or that yoga. It's sustained by strong faith, and having practiced it over a period of time. This Krishna consciousness, as you know, is a journey. We are in this journey, and we are trying to get to somewhere, and we are all at different points in journey. And it doesn't matter whether you're ahead or, but if it is sustained by yoga practice, our determination in mode of goodness will gradually increase as we sustain, as we spend more time in Krishna consciousness. You'll in the right way, you'll probably become more humble. You might have seen 5 years back, if your humility was X, you'll realize that you having spent so much of time with a sustained activity of Krishna consciousness, you have probably become more humbler. If you're not becoming humbler over a period of time, that means there's time to do a check and find out whether I could do something better. And in the mode of goodness, the determination is to always control the activities of mind, life, and senses properly, so that it doesn't stay uncontrolled, and we always have a taste for bhakti in our lives, and it doesn't get perturbed today, tomorrow, and we leave, come back, leave, come back. It should be backed by sustained yoga practice, and it should control the activities of mind, life, and senses. In passion, the intent, the determination and passion is trying to desire fruitive results. In religion, trying to make money, trying to see economic development, CNN. But actually, if you look at the TVs and the programs, the cable, you'll realize that how difficult it is with so much of war going on. A beautiful area which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this nice Mother Earth, is being shattered and bombed every now and then. And people, for the sake of ego and sense gratification, they are destroying the entire universe. And in passion, then you'll be uh, in association with similar people. You might imagine that a person who is smoking, one of his best friend is always another smoker, because the way they interact is through exchanging the matchboxes to light the cigarette. And likewise, in the association of similar people, the passion spreads. And if you think you're mixing with passionate people, and because of that, your determination and passion is growing, it's better to do a time check and see how you can reassociate with similar and different people. And if you're if you're dreaming a lot, daydreaming a lot, and you have fear for things like fear of losing a job or this or that, fear is there in the right way, as we discussed, in the knowledge and mode of goodness. But also, if a person is too much of fearing and too much of daydreaming and too much of lamentation that I could have done this, I could have invested in stock here, and because of this, I lost something. There's all constantly lamenting. Of course, there is a wonderful verse coming where Krishna talks about Brahmabhuta Prasratma Nasochyoti Nakankshati Samasarve Subhute Sumad Bhakti Lavate Param. Uh, there he talks about Brahmabhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Nakankshati. Kankshati means, and Suchoti means lamentation. So a person who goes up in Krishna consciousness, he never laments. The lamentation goes away, and the moroseness, the sadness. The person who is totally a lot in sad, constantly thinking about the negativities or sadness, their determination is waning, and they are in the mode of ignorance, and they are filled with illusion in their lives. And there is more to it in terms of the details around it, but this is actually a, a check on all of us. This is like a test you end up doing. You do a blood test, you find out what the problem is. This is like a vitals check for all of us as to where we are. Krishna consciousness puts us, Krishna consciousness is like a great mirror, it's a very cleansed mirror. It will tell you where you are. You don't have to go anywhere to doctor or anywhere. But if you want, you can always associate with nice devotees. They will tell you something very unique about you, and that's why devotees are often great partners in fostering our Krishna consciousness. So I can go on and on, but would like to end here. It's 7:45. But I would like to end here. Any comments, correction, reflections? Let's discuss. But the intent is to stay focused on this verse where Krishna is giving a very beautiful index around how the intelligence and determination boards with mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance, and how all these 6 attributes for different cells in this uh, is being checked, and how we should transcend to go higher in our modes. If you're in knowledge, you are in this mode, you might like to go a step ahead and help us in our journey, help each of us in our journey in Krishna consciousness. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any question, comments, reflections, corrections?
Hari Bol Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam to everyone. To I I I catch you today and I catch you the Sumesar Prabhu today. I got a chance because I got time today. So I have questions, but this is related to the Bhagavatam sloka. I need more information about that. Already I got some information from Madhupati Prabhu and others, but I need more information about that, Prabhu. So this is 5 canto 10 chapter 22 verse.
Mhm. Do you want to share that verse, or do you want to talk
Yes,
about it?
I can share you, Prabhu. Not a problem. I'm sharing my screen.
Mhm.
Uh, paper. We will record this session. Yeah, rec- uh, share this. Can you can can you see my screen, Prabhu?
No,
Not
we
yet.
are not saying.
Uh,
You want me to share?
yes, Prabhu, you can share it, Prabhu. So because of there is some problem, maybe. I'm sorry, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu.
Mhm. So so here 5:10:22, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
King Rahugana continued, "My dear sir, you have said that designation like bodily fatness and thinness are not characteristic of the soul. That is incorrect, because designations like pain and pleasure are certainly felt by the soul. You may put a pot of milk and rice within fire, and the milk and rice are automatically heated, one after the other. Similarly, due to bodily pains and pleasures, the senses, mind, and soul are affected. The soul cannot be completely detached from conditioning." So this is Bharat Maharaj, right?
Yes,
Rahugana?
yes, Prabhu. Jalo Bharat. Yes.
Yes, Rahugana. Go ahead. What's the question?
The question is that here Bharat Maharaj have told that bodily pain, pleasure, everything that does not touch to the soul,
Hmm.
that is that will not affect our soul. But here Grahuguna giving the argument that yes, there is a pain, pleasure that is affecting the soul, and so I need to know more explanation about that and how soul is acting here with the body.
Yeah, so I would try to quickly respond to you, Prabhu. It may
Yeah.
not be the best, but there are definitely experts in this call who can weigh in. What I'm trying to say here is when our body has this conditioning, right? The soul
Mhm.
is within our body, right?
Yeah.
And our body has conditioning. We have been brought up in certain way. Our food habit has been in certain way, and our lifestyle has been in certain way. So our soul, who is always pure in that sense, but is residing. If our body is a temple, our soul is in our heart, and this you take the tip of a hair, break it into 100 pieces, and that one piece you get, you break it into 100 more pieces. That's the size of the soul in our heart. So our soul is within the conditioning of the body over a period of time, over a period of life after life after life after life. So the soul doesn't feel the pain. Soul is not uh, uh, breakable. The soul is not um, can be burnt, and so many things. But there is a reference in Bhagavad Gita where the soul can be degraded by virtue of being in this body, and that's the reason why when we transmigrate, because of the conditioning the soul is subjected to with a subtle body, it goes to a similar body because of the prior of the karma. So that means you say, for example, this should be taken in the context. You eat like a hog, for example. it's mentioned, and there's a beautiful picture in Bhagavad Gita. And over a period of time, you will go through this conditioning. Krishna is so merciful that he will say, hey, if you have the desire, then you basically transmigrate to a similar personality who likes to eat. So conditioning in this description is because how we have led our life. But as we spend time in Krishna consciousness, as we put our senses, mind, and so then what happens is we have a cleansing effect on our soul. And when we have a cleansing effect, so that's why Srila Prabhupada is writing in the translation, the soul cannot be completely detached from this conditioning. It is because the soul lives within the body. And that's the reason why our transmigration process, depending on our last antakale, um, it goes to a similar situation, because Lord is very merciful. He has given us the free will. So so all I wanted to say here is we have an opportunity to cleanse it, and without really going deep into the 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 post-mortem of this verse, and trying to sort of the very simple understanding is we have an opportunity to cleanse our soul by chanting the holy name, participating in the um, in the in the activities of the Lord. When and Cleansing prasad has power. By eating Krishna prasad, we have an opportunity to cleanse, and because of this cleansing process, we will transcend that conditioning, and we can gradually go back to Godhead. I don't know if that helped.
Yes, Babu, that will help. That is correct, Babu. Yes, um, uh, actually, yes. Should not. But my mind is a little bit I want sometimes details, but that is you are correct. Too much detail is not need.
Yeah,
We should not think about the too much detail
right.
about it. So we should always thinking about that. We should always think about the um, uh, think about the our bhakti and our cleansing process. Everything that is correct, Babu.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Bharat Maharaj was a very deep devotee, right? He had attraction for the deer. The deer left, he became deer in the next life, and in the next life, uh, he was Jada Bharat. So Bharat Maharaj, deer, Jada Bharat. So he had a lot of pious credits, as you saw. So because of the pious credits, he took all those good things. So when he was carrying the palanquin and he was challenged by Rahugan, he could recognize his past. And when he could recognize, Rahugan recognized that, hey, this guy who is lifting the palanquin and taking me, and when there is an ant, when he's stepping on it, um, his consciousness is bringing him back. So it's because he led a wonderful life of conscious life. That's why he carried over a period of 3 lives. Likewise, if we expose like a tree, Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, you probably become one. If you have that desire, if you eat like a hog, you probably become one. So it is very clearly mentioned, and Bharat Maharaj, you gave the perfect 5.10.22, which essentially says, uh, and that's the entire process. Krishna Prabhupada has beautifully explained that just chanting the holy name, association with devotees, and participating in his pastimes in the form of a festival. His appearance day is coming. You can really transcend. And Srila Prabhupada sometimes it says, like it is the saying, right? Aam khao gutliya mat kino. That means going too much deep into it. will counter react. So thank you for your participation, Prabhu. Any other
Yes, yes,
comments?
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, you are correct. So too much detail will not help also. But that is my bad habit to
That's
get in.
okay. That's okay, Prabhu. You are. It's great. You're doing well, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Any other comments and question or addition? So if there is none, Prabhuji, Simeswar Prabhu, you could take it away and end.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hemajaganath Prabhu. Nicely explaining. So, few announcements. So tomorrow is Ekadashi, and we'll be having a class on this Zoom call. And please join. Also, we'll be having Kirtan, Ekadashi Kirtan at the temple, starting evening. It's 7 to 9, right, Jayaprakash Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
7 to 9. And also, Gauri Purnima festival, we are preparing for a big festival, 2-day festival. And it's starting on Sunday, so day one, and then also Monday, the actual day. So we are looking for volunteers, lots of services, cleaning out temple halls and outside community hall, and make sure that everything is clean, so that we can, celebrate nicely. The Lord will be so pleased with the devotion that we have. So everybody, please, join, and request all of you join some way or other. That whatever the time permits you. We are cooking starting on Monday 12 o'clock. Saturday morning onwards, we have some cleanup services in the temple. And also we have part of Gauri Purnima festival. We are celebrating Nagara Sankirtan as a commemorating the Sankirtan festival. So please join on Octree Road, and please come with your, with that devotion, participating in the Sankirtan movements of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That should be our mood. So we are all part of the Sankirtan movement, in the part of the Gaura Leela. Still, Gaura Leela is there. That's why the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy that so many devotees coming forward and take up this service and take up this very pure, the process of bhakti. It's ultimate of everything. We never had, or the history never had such an opportunity to come very much deep, to understand the Krishna conscious philosophy, or Krishna conscious understanding, or we can say the transcendental knowledge. We never had such an opportunity in the history of everything. This is all happened because of the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very easily available. While sitting at home, we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, we are hearing the deep understanding of the transcendental subject matter. This is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, it's not possible. So he is Mahavadanyaya. So that's why we can connect ourselves to the Supreme Lord. So please join the Sankirtan on Saturday, 12 o'clock. And also, we'll be having a Kirtan program at our temple on Sunday, starting at 4 o'clock. This is for His Holiness Kadambakana Swami Maharaj. Maharaj is going through last stages of his life. And Madhuri Prabhu was posting last 2 days. Maharaj going through very difficult condition, less breathing and difficulties of breathing and sleeping, and it's not talking much, but it's Maharaj is giving out instructions how to do the final rites and all. So the devotees, so this is everybody has to go through, but when a devotee, this is the science, or this is the how we can live from this world. This is the final examination. So we all can see that is all possible when we engage in the loving devotional service and we pray to the Supreme Lord. And so we plan the kirtan at the 4 o'clock at the temple, so that we all can together pray and chant the Supreme Lord, that at least Maharaj last stage, at least be, Krishna be present there. That's what is happening to a devotee. Krishna personally come to take his dear devotees. So that's at 4 o'clock Sunday. And we have cultural programs, drama, dance, Sunday school, children's programs on Sunday. Monday as well, we have our Shiksha Vow programs. This is an annual program. Every Gauri Purnima festival, devotees come forward and take a vow that 1 round, 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 16 rounds, taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada, taking shelter of Guru. So please, if you are not part of any Bhaktarisha, please let us know that if you would like to take a vow on this Gauri Purnima. This means that we are eternally connecting to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means without the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are not eligible for the mercy of Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So it's our opportunity to connect ourselves to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Guru Parambara, Panchatattva and Guru Parambara. So this is all the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parambara and devotees. That's it's all happening. So that please take this opportunity. At least minimum 1 round, 1 to 4 rounds is called Shraddhavan. Then minimum 4 rounds to 7 rounds is actually called Gauranga Sevak. And then from 8 rounds to 16 rounds is Gauranga Sadhak. Then 16 rounds, those who are chanting 16 rounds, they are the Srila Prabhupada Asraya. And then if you are already aspiring for a guru, spiritual master, it is Guru Asraya. So these categories are there. And on Monday, after the Gaur Arati, we'll be having the Shiksha Vow program so that we can, all the devotees can come forward and then take this vow and collect a certificate from the temple that now you are getting a title called the Bhakta or Bhaktin. Bhakta means a devotee. Bhaktin also means a devotee of the Lord. So this is a title by the mercy of the Lord, front of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Having this title, this is a milestone in our life and a very important moments in our life. This is the mercy of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So please participate, and if anybody else is there also, request them to participate in this Shiksha programs. And please join and invite your friends and families on this wonderful, Gauri Purnima festival. So thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining today. Any questions on this? Anybody has any questions? Gauri Purnima festival or?
So Prabhu, so to Monday is the fasting day, right? Actually.
Monday is a fasting day. Good point. Yes, Monday we fast till moonrise, till evening. Full fasting. Okay.
Yes, Prabhu, got it. Dandavat Pranam to everyone.
Monday is the actual day, so yeah. Okay. Okay. So anything else? Yeah, tomorrow Ekadashi, Amalaki Ekadashi, fasting from grains and beans, and engage more in devotional activities, chanting the holy name, hearing, and less intake, less food, and focus more so that we can focus more on Krishna. That's the same case for Monday. Read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, hear about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like that. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else? Otherwise, let's conclude. Okay. So let's conclude today's class. Thank you, Hemajaganath Prabhu. Vancha kalpatarupasya kripa sindhu bhavacha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Vaishnavrundaki Jai. भगवत गीता की जय।
Jai.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत
Jai.
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Jai.
गुरु प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि।
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Everyone.